We're going to talk about soils for a second, or a couple of minutes. And there's some very common issues with our soil. And I say this carefully because if you don't listen to what their problem is, you might go straight for a solution and miss an opportunity to allow them to be successful. Because that's ultimately what we want is we want to sell them products that work. The soils up here is predominantly going to be decomposed granite, some organic material depending on where they are, and the pH is going to be out of whack. The pH that's drawn from our aquifers is out of whack because it's basically an underground bowl of our soil. So when you're watering, you're adding to the problem. You're going to want to add acid. And acid will manifest itself in a lack of acid will manifest itself as in a sickly looking plant. Your variegated yellows won't be as bright yellow. Your color on your maples, it won't be as green and as deep green during the year. It won't be as colorful and as red in the fall. So you can see your red tip Vitonia are going to be more like a mauve Vitonia instead of a red tip Vitonia. So and acid is key. Some of the issues are going to be iron, and how or when to put iron in the ground as opposed to acid becomes kind of an issue, and you could chase the wrong symptom and cause a little bit of stress with the customer. So I'm going to go over the two that are absolutely necessary. One is the humic acid. I will buy this for my yard. And, as an aside, I've used all of these products. So it's not like I'm telling you what the label says. I use this acid, I buy it once every year or two, and I put it on everything. The goal is to empty the bag. Don't be storing this, it holds well, but just encourage people to buy a bag and put it on everything. What you'll do is you will see the soil will now be able to release the minerals that are locked up because the pH is out of balance, and the plant itself will be healthier and be able to pick up the nutrients better. The nutrients that you're putting down with the 744. I understand there's already a video on that. And the 744 has some cottonseed casings that when they break down, they put some acid in the soil, but I always add a little bit more. The iron, I'm a little hesitant just to go with pure iron. And so when I think, and you can see they'll bring a leaf in and you'll be able to look at it, not to get down that rabbit trail, but you'll be able to tell if the plant is iron deficient because of the nature of the skin in the leaf. And you get to help with that when you start to figure that out. But I do this as well, and this is a product that's really built for lawns, but I have great success with the trees, especially maples, because maples are going to want iron and acid, and this gives them both. I put this on plants now in the winter and in the early spring so that it's taken up in the newest leaves, and you'll see a greener, nicer looking product with that. Sometimes all they need is acid, but if there's a question about it, give them acid and iron at the same time. Great product. Also, when you're looking at your soils, be aware, just read all the labels. Read all the labels on the plants so you know zones and you know what kind of sunshine they take, and just read the labels on the chemicals so you know what kind of insecticides to use. So you see, this is calcium. This is what we use for blossom end rot on tomatoes, nightshades, essentially, tomatoes, peppers, and squash and stuff like that. This cures blossom end rot. It's also 15, which is very high on nitrogen. It takes a while for it to break down to get to that high, but you need to know that when you're working with beds, garden beds. Sometimes it's not just the native soil that you're dealing with. Why do my tomatoes growing so big and not blooming? I wish I had a blossom end rot problem. I don't have any fruit. Well, part of it is you got way too much nitrogen in your soil, and they're growing too fast and they're forgetting to bloom. So you got to slow them down. Different issue, but be aware of what you're telling them to amend the soil with. Right now, this time of year, while it's still cool, phosphate. This is, as you can see, it's 0 phosphate, phosphoric acid, phosphorus, but it's the center number. And there's an old kind of a kid's rhyme that we used to use to remember your numbers, and it was up, down, and all around. Notice none of those are for flowers. But the down, which is root food, phosphate, is the side effect is flowering. So the only time a plant can really work its roots and grow its roots is when the plant is dormant. Whether it's an evergreen or a maple that's gone dormant, that you can clearly see, the roots are supporting the plant the whole year. Get phosphate on them while the plant is dormant so the roots can grow and you'll have a stronger spring. Likewise, if it's a cherry or a peach or something like that, and you have put the phosphate on it in the winter, you're going to have an explosive springtime. But if you get your plants to bloom with this, but don't forget the fact that it is actually a root food. And if it's not going to be naturally in the soil. This is a soil amendment. That's what you want to be able to do. So be aware, read the labels, find out what happens when it breaks down. Calcium solves the one problem, but creates another imbalance if you're not careful. And ask enough questions so that you know what the real symptoms are. And when in doubt, get them to come back. Sell them a consult. Hey, that's a unique idea. And get them to bring in some leaves, and we'll diagnose them. We'll sell them the right chemicals.